From Daily Trust News Center, this is the News Hour.
On News Hour tonight, residents of Damusa town in Katsina protest as bandits gun down DPO's mother. IGP Alkali Baba seeks legal advice following 3 months imprisonment order. President Muhammadu Buhari seeks end to illicit arms flow in Lake Chad. And on the international scene, killer of South African anti-apartheid leader Hani stabbed in prison. Hello and welcome to News Hour on Trust TV. I'm Dashan Husseina Usman. We begin with security, where residents of Damusa town in Damusa local government area of Katsina State have taken to the streets over an attack that claimed the lives of a divisional police officer's mother and brother. The protesters were said to have set some buildings on fire, including that of the retired classroom teacher, whom they accused of being an accomplice of bandits. It was also feared that the district head's palace was set on fire, but security agents were said to have been drafted to the area. Reports say the victims were attacked and killed at their residence in the early hours of Tuesday, despite a peace deal that was existing between the community and bandits. The police in Katsina is yet to confirm the incident. Earlier, we spoke to Abdullahi Yamadi in Katsina, and he gives us an update on the situation.
Indeed, there was a protest in Damusa town of Damusa local government area of Katsina State Tuesday afternoon. The protesters are angry and tired of the insecurity in the local government area. Even last Monday, an elderly woman and her son were killed after payment of ransom to secure the release of their children. The elderly woman that was gruesomely killed by the terrorists was a mother to DPO Dutse division of the Nigeria police in Katsina State. Reports say they were killed because they resisted being kidnapped by the terrorists. Following these killings, some angry residents of Damusa town took to the streets, removing and damaging all billboards of contestants regardless of their political parties. They also proceeded to the headquarters of local education authority in Damusa, where they destroyed some parts of the building, smashed glasses to the doors and windows of the education authority. They are also angry and blaming political actors for not doing enough to end the incessant abductions, killings, and destruction of their farm produce by the terrorists. The entire town was deserted, even as Tuesday is the weekly Damusa market day. Security operatives were said to have dispersed the protesters and are currently in control of the situation. Damusa and neighboring villages have for long been under siege of the terrorists. Even last Sunday, 26 people were abducted in Dangani village of Musa local government area of Katsina State. So this is the situation there. And of course, I believe people are angry because of the incessant killings, abductions, and destruction of their farm produce like you had. And when I contacted relevant stakeholders there, they told me that most of the people there, especially those that are well-to-do, have relocated to safer places. Of course, you cannot deny the fact that people in the most local government are tired of this insecurity that is ravaging their communities.
Still on security, the woman leader of the Labour Party in Kaura local government area of Kaduna State, Victoria Chimtex, has been assassinated by unknown gunmen. She was said to have been killed on Monday night by the gunmen who invaded her residence at about 8 p.m. and shot at her. The victim's husband, who was also said to have been shot, was rushed to the hospital. Although the police authorities were yet to confirm the incident, the chairman of the Labour Party in Kaduna, Peter Hassan, told newsmen that the victim was a very hard-working and obedient woman leader of the party in Kaura local government area. Hassan disclosed that the gunmen shot the victim several times on her leg and spinal cord, which led to her immediate death. Some notorious members of terrorist groups who are on the police wanted list have been arrested at various bandits' hideouts in Katsina and Zamfara states. parading the suspects at the Katsina State Police Command headquarters. The police say the suspected terrorists have been terrorizing residents of Katsina and some parts of Zamfara states. Abdullahi Yamadi has details.
One of the suspected terrorists under the custody of the police in Katsina is Murtala Ahmed, a member of Kamilu Guzaru, a terrorist kingpin in Damusa local government area of Katsina state. Also from Damusa local government, the police arrested a suspected terrorist and supplier of motorcycles to terrorist Ibrahim Dayebu, who until his arrest has been hibernating around Damusa and Kankara forest.
A suspected terrorist. In the course of investigation, suspect confessed to belong to the camp of one Kamilu Guzaru, a notorious terrorist on the wanted list of the police, terrorizing Damusa local government area, Kankara and its environs. Furthermore, suspect confessed to have participated in several attacks on communities in the area leading to kidnapping for ransom and cattle rustling, and he mentioned the following person to be some of his accomplices: Nake, Abu, Hamisu, Ahmed, all presently at large.
Similarly, the police are investigating one David Eric Ochena of Enugu State, suspected to be a member of the kidnappers group that specializes in terrorizing residents of southeastern states. I'm not a supplier of motorcycles to terrorists. This has been my business over the years. My ward head testified this to the police, but they only want to frame me based on what they wanted. I'm neither a terrorist nor a supplier to them. That's all I know. I'm not denying being a member of that group, but what I am trying to explain is why we left the group and ran to Katsina. The reason is simple. It is because we are tired of what is happening in the group. We no longer receive grants from foreign sponsors, and as such, we don't have money. The only supply we get there is food. Since we don't have money, I don't see any reason to remain with the group again. That's why we disengaged. The police have also recovered a stolen vehicle from a notorious car snatching syndicate.
In the course of investigation, the said motor vehicle Honda Fish Eye was trailed and recovered at Maradi, Niger Republic, already sold by the syndicate. The said motor vehicle was stolen on the 5th July 2022 at about 0200 hours, where it was parked at Funtua, property of the said Abubakar Tambaya, valued 950,000.
The police is, however, calling for more synergy with the people of the state to enable it and sister security agencies flush out criminals from the state. Abdullahi Yamadi, Crossed Television News, Katsina.
Still talking security, the theater commander Northeast Joint Operation Hatankai, Christopher Musa, says 886 terrorists are currently awaiting transfer to Giwa project in Kainji, Niger State for prosecution. Addressing journalists in Borno on Monday, Musa said 323 detainees were transferred to Operation Safe Corridor in Gombe State on September 8th for the de-radicalization, demobilization and rehabilitation program of the federal government. General Musa was represented by the Acting Theater Intelligence Coordinator Obinna Azuike. He stated that over 82,237 terrorists had their families had surrendered since July 2021, adding that currently the Giwa Center has a total of 1,893 suspects in custody. In its quest to ensure peace and unity in the state, the Oyo State chapter of the Southwest Security Network, codenamed Amotekun, has recovered 4 AK-47 rifles, military camouflages, and 60 rounds of 7.62mm ammunition, alleged to have been abandoned by kidnappers operating in an undisclosed forest in the state. Briefing newsmen at the state headquarters of the Corps, Commandant of the Corps, Olayinka Olayonju, explained that the men of the command had been combing the forest in some parts of the state following the recent abductions of passengers along the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway. The commandant said following a tip-off that some gunmen were sighted in one of the undisclosed forests, a joint operation with the Corps and deployment of surveillance cameras led to the confiscation of the items.
In Oyo State became so worried, and with the assistance of the special advisor, we were able to get across to Ogun State, because most of the things that were happening within Ogun State, some at the fringe of the border between Ogun and Oyo. So we felt we have to come together to make sure that we stem the tide. And you can see, these are military camos, complete. Two of them are complete. The shirt, the trouser, the belt, and the jungle hat. Same thing with this. This is the shirt and the beret, and of course muffler. And this is a raincoat with navy cap. I'm sure even the raincoat is a navy color, so it's possible this is navy raincoat.
Ammunitions were recovered under the ground somewhere around this Akiyele. And in furtherance of the investigation that is being carried on, which His Excellency Governor Seyi Makinde gave all the way without to the joint security operatives to go after these people. The result is this: the optimization of the local elements, the vigilantes, the hunters, because without them, without the collaboration of our people at the grassroots, who knows every nook and cranny of the community, you won't be able to record any success. And it's in the course of this, just like the commander had told you, victims have explained, oh, these guys are always in camouflage. They're always carrying automatic weapons. And that was what propelled the security agencies using the hunters, the vigilantes, the traditional rulers. And credible information was given that had resorted to this.
Justice Mobolaji Olajuwon of the Federal High Court Abuja has sentenced the Inspector General of Police Usman Baba to 3 months in prison for disobeying a court order. Delivering ruling, Justice Olajuwon issued the order following a suit filed by a former police officer, Patrick Okoli, who claimed he was unlawfully and compulsorily retired from the Nigerian police force. Earlier in November, Justice Chizoba Orji of a High Court Abuja convicted the chairman of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, Abdulrashid Bawa, for contempt and ordered that he should be committed to prison at Kuje Correctional Center, Abuja. The judge held that Bawa was in contempt of the order of the court made on November 21, 2018, directing the commission to return to an applicant his Range Rover and the sum of 40 million naira. However, Justice Orji, in a subsequent ruling, set aside the conviction of Bawa after hearing an application brought by the EFCC chairman. The Inspector General of Police, Usman Baba, has directed the Commissioner of Police in charge of the Force Legal Unit to prefer informed legal advice to him on the order of the Federal High Court Abuja, which sentenced him to 3 months in prison for disobeying a court order. The police boss made this known in a statement signed by Force Public Relations Officer Olumuyiwa Adejobi hours after Justice Mobolaji Olajuwon issued the order that the IGP be committed to prison and detained in custody for a period of 3 months. The order of the court followed a suit filed by a former police officer, Patrick Okoli, who claimed he was unlawfully and compulsorily retired from the Nigerian police force in June 1992. A federal high court in Abuja was set to have ordered the reinstatement of Okoli in a judgment on October 21, 2011, but the office of the IGP was said not to have complied. Away from that story, the gubernatorial candidate of the All Progressives Congress in Oyo State, Senator Teslim Folarin, has decried the poor standard of education in the state. The gubernatorial candidate made the criticism at the official flag-off of the APC campaign for the 2023 elections held at Oba Adeyemi III Arcade in Oyo town. The gubernatorial candidate said for the past 4 years, the education sector in Oyo has suffered massive setback, hence the need for a holistic approach. He said if elected, come 2023 polls, he will revamp the sector as no country can develop without sound educational system. He further emphasized that the position of Oyo State in the West African Examination Council rankings as 33rd, coupled with the recent delisting of 50 secondary schools by WAEC, had raised serious cause for concern.
I feel good, but it is what you expect from APC. APC is the party on ground. There's no question about in Oyo State. So we're not surprised. We're going to give them, first of all, security. There's no security in this state. That is the bedrock of what we're trying to achieve. Then we would look into the educational sector and agree to create jobs.
And we are going to change this. That is, we're taking over the government from Seyi Makinde to our governor, Senator Teslim Folarin. So people know the difference. They know that he cannot do more than what he's doing now. But we believe that Senator Kolawole can do better than that.
So it's not by accident, it is a thing of joy for the people of Oyo town to welcome the progressive from Oyo State to flag off the 2023 Oyo State APC campaign. So it's a good thing. We are up to the task. As you can see, people are happy. The whole town is in jubilant mood, seeing the governor to be Senator Kolawole Teslim Folarin. By the grace of God, all our 3 senatorial candidates, House of Assembly and House of Rep, will come out victorious come 2023.
We are at the 11.59 hours by. I want to assure you that APC is taking over from the present government. It's not doubtful at all. The government has disappointed everybody. Local government is dead. Civil servants are not happy. Traders are unhappy with him. And I want to assure you that people have tested the two of us. They've tested APC, they've tested PDP. Oyo State people are ready to take over. APC is ready to take over from PDP. It's almost certain, I can assure you of.
Still in politics, the Kwara State chapter of the Social Democratic Party has restated its readiness to take over power in Kwara State in the next election, priding itself as the party that has the best programs to turn around the fortunes of the people. The party leaders in Kwara South and North stated this at the campaign flag-off at Lafiaji and Ajashegbo areas of the state. The report.
On its part, the gubernatorial flag bearer said the state has witnessed downturn in the last 3 years and vowed to bring about the desired changes if elected. He said if given the mandate, he will focus on industrialization and job creation to cater for the youth.
We know there are problems already, and that's why from the beginning, before I even accepted to contest, like I said, I had to go around all the villages, towns, and I had to sit with the elders, the youths. Are you getting me? The women, we actually sat down, we conversed with them so that we'll get to know their problems, so that by the time I get there, I will know how to address it. So I know what their problems are already, and I know what they are always agitating for. So there is nothing new to me. It's my locality.
Our major focus will be industrialization and empowerment. It's obvious that our major challenge is massive youth unemployment, and if you have a lot of idle hands, it leads to insecurity. That is what we are getting to today. So our focus will be mainly to get industries going, to be able to get our young people employed and engaged so that they can be busy and they can be productive.
Despite the scorching sun at the Kwara South Senatorial District at Ajasheipo, another set of party members welcomed the team.
I think Nigeria is working for everybody. The Nigeria we have now is not working for all citizens. It's only working for a handful of people. So we have all come out to begin. This is the first day of a new Nigeria, where we can all collectively as a group to go and fight for ordinary people, Mekuni of the state, where they have been disadvantaged for a long time. All of us could have been doing what we were doing until now, but we felt we had to come out and be able to bring about the Kwara of our dreams.
The confidence that we have the people, we are with the people, we listen to them, they want change. The man that took over from the last government did nothing, and he collected a lot of money from the federal account. So everybody wants a change in Kwara, and this is the only alternative that they have in Kwara.
They called on the people of the state to ensure they participate in the democratic processes by exercising their franchise and choosing the leader that can bring positive change.
The Zamfara state government has accused the People's Democratic Party of staging an illegal rally and using political thugs to destroy its billboards and other property in Gusau, the state capital. The PDP on its part accused the state government of ordering the arrest of chieftains of the party, including the senatorial candidate of Zamfara Central, Bilbis Iskira, allegedly on the orders of the Inspector General of Police. The report.
The ruling All Progressives Congress, APC, and the major opposition People's Democratic Party, PDP, in Zamfara State have again engaged in accusations and counter-accusations. The Deputy Governor, Senator Hassan Nasiha, claimed the PDP had destroyed their billboard and other valuable property, insisting that the APC-led government will checkmate any politician who intends to compromise the peace in the state.
I must reflect that at this juncture that this government shall deal decisively with anybody, however highly placed, who directly engage or encourage any form of act of capable of breaching peace. I therefore call on peace-loving people of Zamfara State to keep on praying for peace and stability in the state, as well as go about conducting their political activities campaign peacefully.
The state's acting chairman of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, Mukhtar Mohammed, in a swift reaction, debunked the claim of the APC, noting that the party did not embark on any illegal rally. He described the development as a homecoming for one of the governorship aspirants of the party, who is currently trying to reclaim his mandate as the governorship candidate of the PDP in the appeal court. The PDP challenged the Governor Bello Muhammad-led administration to channel its energy on providing security, addressing poverty, and improving the state's economy, and refrain from intimidation and illegal arrest of their members in the state.
This is an attack on democracy. What is happening is a mere show of force that is not going to change the narrative in our state. The government should concentrate on issues at hand. We are talking about the lives and security of our citizens. We are talking about development. We are talking about so many other things, all the indices that should be the concern of the government now.
The PDP in Zamfara State said the action of the ruling All Progressives Congress, APC, is strengthening and building the popularity of the party, adding that it is confident that it will wrestle power from the APC in the forthcoming 2023 general elections.
The Chief of Defense Staff, General Lucky Irabor, says the Nigerian Army is working to ensure that the 2023 election is conducted peacefully in the country. General Irabor stated this on Tuesday at the headquarters of the Operation Safe Haven while commissioning some projects executed by the Commandant Ibrahim Ali. Ado Musa completes the report.
Operation Safe Haven is a multi-security task force maintaining peace in Plateau and some parts of Bauchi and Kaduna states. The Army General, who was in Jos to deliberate on issues related to security in the country, said the Nigerian Army and the Nigerian Police were synergizing to provide a peaceful atmosphere for the upcoming elections. He said the operational activities the Nigerian Army is conducting would also add up to the ambience for the peaceful conduct of the exercise, adding that he was optimistic that the exercise was going to be a very good one.
I'm quite optimistic that it's going to be a good showing. For you or us in the armed forces, we believe that it will help us to deepen the democratic process, and so that's why we stand ready to support it through and through.
While commenting on the project, which include road, troops accommodation and car park, General Irabor said the project will go a long way in improving the condition of the troops and motivate them to do more.
The projects that were commissioned were only part of the efforts to improve on the conditions of the troops that are here. And it's a good initiative by the commander. And that's the reason why I commended it. I believe that it will add to improve on not just the living conditions, but to further motivate them to do more in terms of the operational effectiveness.
General Irabo said he was enjoined not only to motivate the troops, but to commend them on the successes recorded in recent times in the fight against insurgency and other forms of criminality bedeviling the country. Ado Musa, Trust TV News, Jos.
You're watching News Hour on Trust TV. Coming up after the break. Concerns over health implications of Gadagi tea on consumers. Do stay with us.
The Executive Governor of Kano State, Dr. Abdullahi Umar Ganduje, OFR, welcomes all distinguished invited guests, speakers, panelists, and other participants to a one-day national interreligious conference scheduled to hold in the state. Theme: Harnessing Nigeria's Religious Diversity for Sustainable Peace and National Development. Date: Thursday, 1st December 2022. Venue: Coronation Hall, Government House, Kano. Time: 9 a.m. Co-chairman of the occasion, Sheikh Abdullahi Balalo, National Chairman, Jibwis. His Eminence, Cardinal John Onyekan, Archbishop Emeritus of Abuja. Special guest of honor, Alhaji Amina Ado Bayero, Emir of Kano. His Eminence, Dr. Julius O.O. Abe, the Primate, the African Church Nigeria and overseas. Professor Sheikh Ahmed Said Galadanchi, CON, Murshid, National Mosque, Abuja. You are welcome to Kano, the center of commerce. Announcer, Sheikh Muhammad bin Uthman and Most Reverend Peter Ogumuyiwa, PhD, Co-Chairman, Conference Committee.
Welcome back and thanks for staying with us. If you're just joining us, you're watching News Hour on Trust TV. Here's a recap of our stories. We told you that residents of the Musa town in Katsina protest as bandits gunned down DPO's mother. We also told you that IGP Alkali Baba seeks legal advice following 3 months imprisonment order. Moving to more news, farmers in Katsina State have expressed worry over the challenge of transporting their farm produce to nearby markets. With reports of a bumper harvest this season, moving perishable produce such as pepper, lettuce, onions, vegetables and hibiscus has become a source of concern due to the bad nature of the roads. Abdullahi Amadi met some farmers living along Dokawa, Aminchi, Bujawa, and Randawa Road in Mashi and Mani local government areas of Katsina State who complained of collapsed roads. The report.
This 35-kilometer road is linking over 18 major communities with a farming population. The feeder road is only used by motorcycles and bus carts to convey farm produce to markets as a result of its poor condition. The only way to end our difficulties is to construct this road. This will give us a new lease of life. Look, people living around this road feel neglected and abandoned. It is better as a media people, you know this. I passionately appeal to Katsina State government to come to our aid and quickly tar this road before the end of its tenure in 2023. We need this road, nothing but this road, from the government. Residents also find it difficult to convey sick persons to hospitals at the time of need. They say once it rains, the road becomes inaccessible for at least 3 to 4 days, a situation they described as pathetic. A lot of farm produce are wasted here as a result of the poor state of this road, affecting the socio-economic development of people living around it. If we can have this road tarred, all our problems would have been solved, because as it is now, our number 1, 2, 3 problem is this road. We have farm produce perished and wasted in our communities that need to be transported to market. Stakeholders appeal to authorities concerned to construct the road to improve the socio-economic well-being of not only the residents of the 2 local governments, but Katsina State as a whole. Abdullahi Ismayamadi, Trust Television News, Katsina.
The House of Representatives Committee probing the total consolidation and utilization of Ecological Fund has summoned the Ministry of Works and Housing, Ministry of Niger Delta Affairs and Federal Road Maintenance Agency to appear before it on Thursday to defend this utilization of the Ecological Fund disbursed to them. Also summoned by the House Committee are the Ministry of Health and the Nigerian Hydrological Services. Chairman of the committee, Isiaka Ibrahim, while giving his ruling on Tuesday in Abuja, said this will be the last time the committee will issue the summons to the affected ministries and agency after failing to show up during previous invitations. The committee members said they want clarification from the invited ministries and agency over the alleged 15 billion naira they claimed were used to rehabilitate the East-West Road despite allocation released by the federal government for the same project. They also called on the Ministry of Health to appear before it to defend the utilization of the alleged 20 billion naira ecological funds disbursed to them. The committee is worried that the 36 states and the 774 local governments of the Federation have all benefited from the ecological funds but are yet to appear before the committee to defend how they utilized the funds.
The Federal Road Maintenance Agency is hereby summoned by this committee on House Committee on Ecological Fund. And letter to that effect will be written and signed by the clerk of the House of Representatives. Ministry of Works is hereby summoned against December 1st, which is Thursday, to appear before this committee to defend what they have done with the money drawn from Ecological Fund.
On pertaining the Federal Ministry of Works, you said they collected money for the repair of the East-West Road. And you know that the federal government awarded that contract through the Niger Delta. It is now Federal Ministry of Niger Delta. So I don't know whether we have another East-West Road, or is that particular one we are talking about? And we are hearing about 20 billion naira. Is it for emergency repair? We should know. They should come and specify where they must have spent those money.
Traders have been counting their losses following an early morning fire that gutted a section of the Onitsha main market on Monday morning. It was gathered that shops and goods worth millions of naira were destroyed by the fire, which happened on Kano Street of the market. The cause of the fire is not yet known. However, it was gathered that it started from one of the shops before spreading to other parts of the market.
I sold all my property with machine, 4 machines. All the 3-4 shops there for that line. All the shops dry. The light cleared those property were there for the line.
I was witnessing those Hausa guys. They're telling how what's happening. They came and they were telling me that they're not happy. What's happening? I said that they're supposed to stop the fire. The fire started from a shop over there, but due to security pursued them that because of stealing the other things, the fire is circulated, understand? So that's exactly what happened. So we have no option. We are here watching our shops burning. We cannot remove even a pin. We don't remove anything from there.
Every time fire is stopping people for this main market. Fire is stopping people for this main market. I don't even understand what our government is doing. The whole main market don't have a fire service. The small shop, the small light started make all the plaza burn down. People are crying.
Deputy Governor Onyekachi Ibezim, who visited the scene of the incident, commiserated with the affected traders and urged them to remain strong, adding that the state government is taking steps to finding lasting solutions to incessant fire outbreaks in the state. He called on traders to always keep working fire extinguishers in their shops and train everyone on how to use them.
Done, and then immediate plan to prevent any further occurrence, not even future. The journey starts now.
Jos Muslim community on Monday offered special prayers for peace and to the victims of the Jos ethno-religious crisis that claimed hundreds of lives in Plateau State in 2008. The prayer, which was held at the Jos Central Mosque, was organized by Jasawa Community Development Association to mark the 14th commemoration prayer for the victims of the crisis. President of JCDA, Ibrahim Shehu Masalla, said the prayers were organized to build in the spirit of love, peace and courtship, to erase the ugly memories of pain and destruction that greeted the crisis. Masalla said the Jos Muslim community witnessed extrajudicial killings in 2008, which displaced thousands of people and left many widowed and children orphaned. He, however, said that the narrative has changed with the coming of the present administration, which has demonstrated commitment to peace by carrying every community along in the state. The Kano state government has banned tricycle riders known as Adede Tasahu from operating on some major roads within the Kano metropolis from Wednesday, November 30, 2022. This was disclosed in a statement on Tuesday by the Public Relations Officer of Karota, Nabilusi Naisa. The government, through the Kano Road Traffic Agency, said it took the action after providing 100 ultramodern buses and 50 taxis that will be conveying passengers on the roads that are prohibited for tricycle operators. According to the statement, the government has provided buses in order to enhance transportation in the state, as well as to make it easier for people to follow these routes. The statement added that the government will also announce when tricycle operators will stop using other major roads in the state once it provides more ultramodern buses and taxis to ease traffic congestion in Kano City. The federal government has approved 14-day paternity leave for any serving male officer whose spouse delivers a baby. Head of Civil Service of the Federation, Folasha Deyemiasong, in a circular, said the leave will take effect from November 25, 2022. She said the leave is in line with the provisions of the Public Service Rules 2021 edition. Yamiason also said requests for such leave must be accompanied by the expected date of delivery, as well as a report of the officer's wife or evidence of approval of the adoption of the child by the relevant government bodies. Moving away from that story, stakeholders drawn from both public and private sectors have called on the federal government of Nigeria to ensure Supreme Audit institutions come on board to promote a smooth implementation of Nigeria's energy transition plan, which seeks to attract $10 million annually into the nation's financial coffers. The call was made at a policy dialogue on climate adaptation and energy accountability, which was held in Abuja. Christiana Mudo Tinya tells us more.
The National Bureau of Statistics, in its multidimensional poverty index, revealed 133 million Nigerians are living in poverty, and at a time where energy transition have been brought to front burner, it is essential to ensure that funds marked for Nigeria's energy transition journey is judiciously utilized.
This class of citizens, who indeed are mostly impacted and affected by effects of climate change, and who somewhat do not have the resources to transit as we begin to have a discussion around energy transition, are the most affected, and the conversation we'll be having around how we adapt to climate change, how we transit from fossil fuel to clean energy should cater to their needs.
The National Development Plan, the Energy Transition Plan, how do those speak to each other? How does this huge bill of $1.9 trillion that we have decided or we have itemized and set as a target to achieve our net zero 2060 aims in the Energy Transition Plan, how will that speak to all the different national development plans and also indeed subnational?
The Auditor General of Nigeria lamented funding as major challenge hampering auditing process in climate and energy-related sectors. The Executive Secretary of NEITI said including transparency and accountability in Nigeria's energy transition plan is unequivocally important.
When you present a budget to the budget office and tell them we need this money to enable us to do an audit on climate change related matters, they don't understand. On several occasions we keep pressing, fund this office to enable us. Without funding, there is very little we can do.
Nigeria must mainstream transparency and accountability into the energy transition and climate adaptation agenda and program through independent and regular audits.
As the clock ticks to usher in the 2023 general elections in Nigeria, the call is that public funds should be utilized to build a productive energy sector that does not further plunge more Nigerians into poverty. Christiana Amodu Utinya, Trust TV News, Abuja.
Thank you, Christiana, for that report. Moving on, Gadegi, a common name for a special herbal tea that is reputed to be an energizer, is commonly consumed among commercial drivers and other laborers in Kano State. But for some, Gadegi is nothing but a substance that poses a serious threat to the health of consumers. In this special feature, Trust TV correspondent Idris Jibrin takes a look at Gadegi and its effect on the human body.
For several years, this area is best located when referred to as Hauran Gadegi in Kano metropolis. Jamila Abdullahi owns this joint where one can find all kinds of Gadegi tea at any time of the day. Its price ranges from 50 to 100 naira, depending on the ingredients and taste.
Gadegi, as people used to call it, is not something harmful or dangerous, as some may want to believe, and it has no difference from other normal tea. It's combined Lipton, ginger, and some other ingredients.
Gadegi tea is a mixture of sugar and Lipton of Highland brand, usually boiled in water with some plants such as African mahogany, lemongrass, and mint plant.
We used to mix sugar, Lipton, ginger, lemongrass, mint grass, and several other herbal ingredients to make it even more tasty, depending on what the people want. But it has no drugs whatsoever.
Those who consume Gadegi believe that it can increase their power of endurance and their ability to work for hours without fatigue.
We do take Gadegi anytime we are going to work because it gives us extra energy. In fact, if I don't take it, I used to feel lazy.
Although it gives the users the needed satisfaction, Gadegi tea is neither certified nor regulated as food by NAFDAC.
Generally, as per tea, we NAFDAC register tea, and of course we regulate tea, but tea has packaged tea, not tea popularly sold with herbal preparations. If it is a packaged tea, branded, packaged tea branded, like Lipton, like Dala tea, like Highland tea, and many of such tea, we regulate them. But the concoction, some people just that popularly called meshai, that they will just put in herbs and boil it and give it to people to take, we don't regulate that.
Although most of the plants used in preparing Gadegi tea have medicinal uses, but expert believes that their combined effect in Gadegi may lead to some serious health issues, especially among those who have been taking Gadegi herbal tea with some drugs to improve its effectiveness. Idris Jubrin, Trust TV News, Kano.
You're still watching News Hour on Trust TV. More stories after the break.
That's great. It's good to see you.
Welcome back to News Hour. Let's now join Chiamaka Nwafo for business news.
Nigeria's non-oil exporters have repatriated a total of $4.99 billion, 10 months after the introduction of the RT200 initiative by the Central Bank of Nigeria. This is 56.43% higher than the $3.190 billion repatriated in 2021 before the policy. Governor of the CBN, Godwin Emefiele, disclosed this on Tuesday at the second edition of the RT200 biannual conference in Lagos. He said $1.966 billion of the total sum qualified for the rebate program, but only $1.559 billion was sold at the investors and exporters forex window or for own use. Recounting the achievement of the industry since the first conference in June of 2022, he said in terms of processes and infrastructure for improving trade performance, the sector recorded some achievements in automation and digitization of the trade processes. Nigeria's 2021-2022 cocoa main crop output is seen shrinking by 15% as fungal black pot disease attacked farms. This is following the flooding incidences and heavy rainfall in the main producing areas. National President of the Cocoa Association of Nigeria, Mufutau Abolarinwa, who disclosed this, said the season was delayed by 2 weeks and a scramble for quality cocoa beans has pushed the prices of the commodity higher as floods ravaged farmlands in Taraba and Cross River states. An analysis puts the price of cocoa, Nigeria's flagship export produce, having surged by 77% this year of prices in key producing states. An analysis puts the prices of cocoa, Nigeria's flagship export produce, having surged by 77% this year. The main crop accounts for about 70% of Nigeria's cocoa output, while the mid-crop accounts for 30% of the total production for the season. Nigeria is the world's fourth top grower of cocoa with 250,000 metric tons, the ICCO said in its third quarter bulletin, and a 15% decline means the output will dip by 37,500 metric tons. According to the Cocoa Research Institute of Nigeria, black pod, a fungi disease, thrives in wet conditions on cocoa farms due to incessant rains. According to the Cocoa Research Institute of Nigeria, black pod, a fungi disease, thrives in wet conditions on cocoa farms due to incessant rains without adequate sunshine. And finally, in stock, transactions on the floor of the Nigerian stock market on Tuesday closed on a negative note as the all share index declined by 0.24% to close at 47,322.97 points from the previous close of 47,436.45 points. The market capitalization depreciated by 0.24% to close at 25.776 trillion naira from the previous close of 25.837 trillion naira, shedding 61 billion naira. The market break closed negative as 13 stocks emerged on the gainers list while 14 stocks declined in their share prices. An aggregate of 120.95 million units of shares was traded in 3,022 deals valued at 1.65 billion naira. And that's it on Business News. I am Chiamaka Nwafo. Thanks for listening.
President Muhammadu Buhari has asked border control agencies and security services within member countries of the Lake Chad Basin Commission to stop the circulation of all illegal weapons in the region. Speaking at the 16th Ordinary Summit of Heads of State and Government of the Lake Chad Basin Commission on Tuesday, the president said illegal importation of weapons had heightened the proliferation of small arms and light weapons within the region. The presence of a huge cache of weapons continues to threaten the collective peace and security in the region, despite the fact that terrorist threats have been reduced drastically. Kehinde Amodu reports.
Established on May 22, 1964, the Lake Chad Basin Commission has 6 member countries which share borders with the Lake Chad, including Cameroon, Niger, Nigeria, Chad, Central African Republic, and Libya. This summit seeks to review the development projects and counter-terrorism strategies that have been instituted to fulfill the Commission's mandate in the region.
The Lake Chad Basin Commission has the mandate of sustainably and equitably managing the Lake Chad and other shared resources, preserving the ecosystem and promoting the integration and preservation of peace and transboundary security in the basin.
President Buhari, who is also chairman of the Lake Chad Basin Commission, is concerned that the proliferation of small arms and light weapons in the region is compounding the challenges of insecurity in member states. He, however, stresses that military actions alone cannot effectively win the war against terrorism, even though a lot of gains have been made.
It must, however, be stated that despite the successes recorded by the gallant troops of the multinational Joint Task Force and the various ongoing national operations in the region, the terrorist threat still lurk in the region.
The Nigerian president acknowledges that there are budgetary concerns in all member countries, particularly against the backdrop of declining global inflows and increasing demands. But the mandate to stop the circulation of illegal weapons in the region remains a top priority.
Regrettably, the situation in the Sahel and the region war in Ukraine serve as major sources of weapons and fighters that bolster the ranks of the terrorists in Lake Chad region. A substantial proportion of the arms and ammunition procured to execute the war in Libya continues to find its way to the Lake Chad region and other parts of the Sahel.
The Commission manages Lake Chad's shared water resources, preservation of ecosystems, and promotion of regional integration, peace, and development in the region. From State House, Abuja, Kehinde Amodu, Trust TV News.
On the international scene, Janice Wallace, the killer of South African anti-apartheid leader Chris Hani, nearly 3 decades ago was stabbed in prison and is receiving treatment, authorities said on Tuesday. Wallace, 69, a Polish citizen, was granted parole by South Africa's Constitutional Court last week and was expected to be released immediately. The decision was met with fierce criticism and protests across the country. He was stabbed by another inmate from the same housing unit, the department said, without providing further details on the incident or the identity of the stabber. Hani, a senior member of the now ruling African National Congress and head of the South African Communist Party at the time, was shot by Wallace outside the anti-apartheid activist's home in 1993. His killing triggered nationwide riots that threatened to derail South Africa's transition to multiracial democracy after decades of white minority rule under apartheid. And in sports, the ongoing World Cup in Qatar will have an indelible memory on the history of the Super Eagles of Nigeria. The failure of the country's national team to qualify for Qatar 2022 have continued to trigger reactions from sports lovers across the country. Jimmy Azande reports from Makurdi.
The residents of Makurdi blame the situation on the absence of discipline and alleged corruption in the Nigerian Football Federation. This, they said, is often the result of wrong policies, one of which is players' recruitment into the national team.
It's actually very sad that the Super Eagles couldn't make it to the World Cup because we had really high hopes for them at the qualifiers when they lost to Ghana, right? When they lost to Ghana in the last match they played. For me, I almost cried. I was actually heartbroken because I actually love football. And for the World Cup, for Nigeria to be in the World Cup, it is something very interesting. But right now, I am not watching the World Cup because Nigeria is not playing.
I'm not too happy that our able team, the Super Eagles, are not qualified for the World Cup. Sport lover, I go always to watch every match that is ongoing, but I'm not very happy to be precise. I'm not very happy that the Super Eagles have not qualified for the World Cup.
Our country, Nigeria, has not been the World Cup. Seriously, the matches I've been watching so far has not impressed me anymore. Has not been impressive so far. But though I still have a country which I'm supporting, and I really appreciate our African brothers who are doing well.
Some blame the players for not doing what is right in the interest of the country, just like it is the case with other African countries, adding that in the past Super Eagles have performed excellently.
Actually, I am not really happy without Nigeria participating. But then I blame our boys. They don't put body to the football. They after guy. Look at how the rest of the Africa teams are actually very serious. But our boys, they are fond of making dada. Thinking that is all about football. And that does not give them glory. They don't even make them to play football. So actually, I'm not really happy in the absence of Nigeria.
In the viewing centers, the crowd during such football tournaments is missing. Many Nigerians are unhappy with the absence of Super Eagles and are not excited watching the event. They hope that the Nigerian Football Federation and the handlers of the national team will begin preparation for the next World Cup.
Let's now join Adeni Ajishafe for more sports news.
The Teranga Lions of Senegal and the Netherlands have qualified for the round of 16 of the 2022 FIFA World Cup in Qatar after the conclusion of Group A games on Tuesday. Senegal edged Ecuador 2-1 to finish as Group B runners-up with 6 points, a point behind the Netherlands. Ecuador's Piro Nkapi in the 42nd minute brought down a Senegalese player inside the box, and Clement Topin interrupted the game, awarding a penalty to the Teranga Lions. Ismail Assar won the Battle of Wills and sent an unstoppable penalty past Hernan Galindes into the bottom right corner in the 44th minute to give Senegal the lead. From a corner kick in the 68th minute, Moises Caicedo buried the ball into the back of the net from a Felix Torres knockdown to equalize for Ecuador. Senegalese captain Kalidou Koulibaly was in the right place at the right time to get a rebound inside the box before he rifled the ball into the left side of the goal for his second goal of the game. Senegal will face Group B winners in the round of 16. Meanwhile, the Netherlands top Group A with 7 points after a 2-0 win over host Qatar. Cody Gakpo in the 26th minute made a yard for himself after a well-taken pass inside the box and netted inside the right post. In the 49th minute, Frankie de Jong was in the right place at the right time to get to a rebound inside the box, and he gleefully rifled the ball into the right side of the goal to double the Netherlands' lead. The European side will face Group B runners-up in the round of 16. That's Sport News. I am Adeni Ajishafe.
And with that, we've come to the end of Trust News Hour. Don't forget to follow us across all our social media platforms. I'm Darshan Hussaina Usman. Thanks for watching.